I have PenFed, that's a fact.
I have PenFed, that's a fact.
My credit card purchases get me cash back.
My credit card purchases get me cash back.
No one else gets these rewards.
Sergeant, that is just plain untrue.
What in tarnation?
Sir, PenFed's Paracash Rewards card isn't just for military members. Anyone can get cash back on all purchases.
Ah, Figgins! You've ruined my favorite song.
PenFed Credit Union. Visit PenFed.org/PowerCash. To receive any advertised product, you must become a member of PenFed, insured by NCUA.
Hi, and welcome back to Boss Wife. I am your host, Ebony. Here is where you would get your motivation for the week. Here is where you would get the tools and tips to learn how to play, laugh, and live hard, unapologetically. Here is where you will learn to erase the lines of the box because you realize you cannot be contained. Here is where you will learn how to show up for yourself. Here is where the most powerful transition will begin in your life. Welcome to Boss Wife. Hey guys, so I am excited to talk to you guys on tonight. I just had a great weekend. We had a lot of family time over the weekend. I hope you guys did as well. So I had a very interesting conversation this weekend, and I am just like bubbling over to talk to you guys about this. So let's get started, shall we? So tonight's topic is facing the truth. And the conversation that I had this weekend was definitely very interesting to me because it reminded me about my youth. And no, I am not old, but I am still young, but I am not in my 20s. I'm not in my 19s, 18, 17, you know, like I'm mature, right? Like I've lived life, I've been married, I've had children, I'm living their lives, I'm helping them through everything that they're going through, their adolescence and everything like that. So I've been on jobs, I've been, you know, around the world a couple of times. So while I am not a young Thundercat anymore, it's exciting and interesting and sometimes depressing talking to people who are decades younger than me. Okay. So, the conversation that I had this weekend was about, a life-changing event. Someone very dear to me, close to me, lost someone. And, you know, I'm trying to explain everything without explaining all of their business, go into deep details, but, they lost someone. And so they've been trying to figure out the new phase of this life for them and how this is going to look for them and how this is going to look for their children. So, you know, the interesting thing is for me, I've never been in this position. And so I couldn't really shed light to this person on this certain position. But the other part of their life I have been in and I've been there. So I was trying to encourage them and trying to give them some insight. And the whole time we were having this conversation, I had this conversation with this person because I thought we were at a level where we could definitely go in depth. We could definitely, you know, open up to one another and share some things because we've been building up to this certain moment in our relationship because this is a new person in my life. So at this moment, at this particular time, I thought, you know, this is a great opportunity. It's just me and this person here. We're bonding, we're talking. Let me break down barriers. Let me get into this person's head and just really try to pull some truth and some light until, you know, we get to a certain level of understanding, because I knew that there were some boundaries there and some walls put up. And, you know, by not knowing the person before this certain circumstance, it's kind of hard to tell who they were. You know, like I've seen them here and there. I've seen certain lifestyle things that they do and that they enjoy and that they, you know, take heed to or whatever, however you want to say. So I knew that there were some things about them that, you know, were there before they lost this person, but I didn't really know this person in detail, right? So, you know, so I dived in head first. And if you know me, then you know that, you know, once I get to a certain level with you and I feel comfortable with you, then, you know, hey, I'm asking all the hard questions, like, you know, what's up, what's real. So we dove in, and I'm talking and then, you know, I keep hitting walls with this person, and I'm like, okay, so what is it that, like, what's the truth? Like, what is it that you don't want me to know? You know, because when you're talking to somebody and you're trying to help people, you get that notion, or you get that feeling that they're holding things back, that they don't really want to tell you, that they don't really want to really tell anybody, you know, and then you get this feeling it's not a personal secret. It's just the fact that they don't want to admit it. And that's the wall we kept hitting, you know. And I'm like, okay, no, you got to get it out. You got to say it. You got to bring it to fruition. Like, what is this thing that you are running from? What is this thing that you're hiding from? What is this thing that you don't want to reveal to you? Because I know the truth. You need to face the truth. And so that's where we were. And in this conversation, the person revealed some things about them, and then they revealed some things about their situation. And then I realized that there was an illusion there that I wasn't mentally equipped to handle, right? And at that point, I knew to step back. I knew to relinquish. I knew to let go. I knew that, Lord, this is not my battle. This is yours. You know, I'm just going to stay in my zone, in my position, in my certain area of this person's life. And this is what I'm going to work on. This is what I'm going to help with, because that illusion is not for me to tackle. And I just want to say that without putting everything out there, and I know you guys know what I'm talking about, because when you get in these conversations with these people, it's like, you know, once we've brought it out and you said it out loud and it doesn't faze you, like, okay, so there's nothing for me to do. You know, like, I can't make reality your reality. Like, I can't make you face this reality that you want to act like it's not real. Like, you said it out loud, you voiced this, and I'm sitting here and I'm helping you come to terms with it, and you're realizing that it's not reality, but you don't want to accept that it's not your reality. So it can't be it's reality, but it's not your reality. It just can't be. So it's either reality or it's fictional. And if it's not fictional, then it's reality. I just don't know how else to say it. So anyway, I love this person, so I decided to back off, and I decided that, you know, everybody that comes to your life, yes, they come to your life for a purpose, they come to your life for a reason, but sometimes, you know, the position that you play in that person's life sometimes doesn't go past first base. You know, you're there for a significant amount of time in that person's life and for a significant reason, and that's your role. And, you know, and it takes a strong person to realize that you cannot save everybody. You cannot be everybody's hero. You cannot be everybody's salvation. That's what Jesus died for. I am not getting on the cross for no one other than my 4, probably, and my husband. I'm just letting y'all just be real. My 4 and that number 1, yes, I probably would get on the cross. Anybody else, sorry, you out of luck. So, you know, I have enough things going on in my life. You know, I can't take on everybody's drama. I can't take on everybody's emotional baggage. I am, however, a confidence life coach, and I thrive on supporting and boosting and motivating, you know, but I can't do it if you are afraid to accept it. You know, so the thing about being a life coach is you help people that are willing and are ready. You can't help people who are afraid of their own. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't help people who are afraid of their own reality. I can't help you if you're asking me 10,000 questions about your own reality. I'm sorry. Like, you have to come to me once you're ready and you're willing to accept and to challenge yourself. If that person is not ready to accept that challenge, then there's really nothing for you guys to do. So there is my tip for today. All right. So there's my little gold nugget. I really wish I could have went into more detail because it was really interesting, you know, but that's one of those backdoor girlfriend talks. So sorry, guys. But, you know, it is what it is. We love people, but we have to learn to love them where they are. Right. All right. So tonight, let's get down to basics. So we're talking about fear, denial, acceptance, because all of these things represent facing the truth. Okay. So Let's tackle denial first. Okay, so denial. What and who are we denying? First off, I know, let's just stay on this one topic. I'm just going to take snippets of this topic, of this scenario that I was already using. So this person lost someone, right? They lost someone very significant to them. And I can say from personal experience, I have never lost someone. I've never lost a lover, right? The closest person that I have ever lost is my grandmother. And for me, it was different because my grandmother had Alzheimer's. And if you know anything about Alzheimer's, it separates you from that person way before they pass away. And the biggest struggle for me, I remember my pastor asking me, and I hope he's not listening, but he did for the very first time and the only time, actually, I will be honest, this is the only time he's ever offended me and hurt my feelings. I couldn't stop crying, and he asked me one day, and he was like, why? He was like, can I ask you why you're crying? And he was like, what part of this are you dealing with? Like, what is the struggle in this right now for you? And he was like, what's the struggle in this for you losing your grandmother? He was like, what's the biggest part of you that is struggling? Why are you continuing to be this sad and depressed and emotional? And I was like, because she didn't remember me. And he kind of looked at me, he walked off. He was like, are you serious? Like, and I felt like he didn't get it. Like, because here's my thing. Say you're married, right? And you lose your spouse. Well, and I know a lot of people go through this, but here's the thing. So my grandmother pretty much helped raise me. Like, it was my mom and my grandmother. You guys know that. I've said that 10,000 times. I come from a 2-parent home. That was my 2-parent home, my mother and my grandmother. So for my grandmother not to remember me, her baby, and I'm not joking, you guys, like, I was the only granddaughter. I was the only grandbaby. I was the only grandchild for maybe 12, 13 years. And then my uncle had 2 boys. And then my mom had another boy. I'm the only girl, you guys. So not only that, I lived with my grandmother for 12, 13 years before there was another grandchild born, period. So it was like that. I was spoiled right. And I'm just going to be real with y'all. Like, I really was. So, but to me, when he said that, my first thought was, think of your wife. You spent all these amount of years with this one person, living with them, caring for them caring about you, them being your world, they're your world, and they don't know who you are when they pass away. Like, how do you say goodbye to somebody who doesn't know you? They're not telling you goodbye, They don't share the same memory, the same years, the same time that's passed with you that you're sharing with them. So for me, that was the biggest hurt for this friend of mine. Her thing was, it was a lover, and it was a lover gone wrong by the time he passed away. And so when he passed away, they were on bad terms or good terms, however you want to say it. They weren't together. But this was the love of her life, her only father of both of her children, and so I don't know that loss, but I would never say to somebody, like, are you serious? Like, because you just don't know the strength and the passion and the relationship between someone when they lose somebody. Like, it's just devastating for that person. So, tomatoes, my thing. He didn't mean, I'm sure, what he thought he was doing. I don't know. I can't really think or say for him, but for me, it was offensive. But anyway, so in losing a loved one, I can't speak on that scenario, but let's use her for an example. So if you're denying the fact that it's time for you to stand on your own, it's time for you to do things on your own, it's time, to move on and to be realistic and just to live a life of, big girl panties. So I was saying, like, you just have to acknowledge a difficult situation and try to make the best of it, right? So living in denial. Let's see. Denial is the action of declaring something to be uttered or declaring something to be acknowledged. It's the illusion of something that may not be there. So, or the illusion of something that isn't there. So in denying, what you do is you hold yourself back from a progressive situation. And life will always have circumstances and situations where we feel like aren't fair. We feel like we can't bear it. We feel like it's something that we shouldn't have to go through, that we're feeling like we're being made to go through this certain situation. So our mind helps us to block things out. And we try not to face certain problems or face the facts of life. And then we also, we tend to kind of downplay situations and we downplay possible consequences of the issue. And sometimes the issues or the consequences of that issue outweighs that denial. Like it outweighs to the fact that if you don't face the truth, or if you don't face the fact of this situation, things are going to progressively get worse. And we just can't afford to let that happen, right? So sometimes we need that friend, or we need that close relative, or we need that close pastor or whoever just to help snap us out of it and to help us matriculate through these things. Because 9 times out of 10, if you're left alone in certain situations, we don't really make things better for ourselves. We make things worse. And then we continue to lie to ourselves. We continue to put up these walls. We continue to surround ourselves with these imaginary worlds. And it's just not fair. It's not fair if you're raising children. It's not fair to your coworkers. It's not fair to your loved ones, because when reality sets in, you still have to face these situations. And knowing this and knowing that,
whether you're buying a new car or used one, it's a big investment, which is why you should choose Pennzoil Platinum. It helps extend the life of your engine and protect it up to 15 years or 500,000 miles, whichever comes first, guaranteed. That's because Pennzoil's base oil is made from natural gas and 99.5% free from engine clogging impurities. The proof is in the Pennzoil. Enrollment required. Keep your receipts. Other conditions apply. See pennzoil.com/warranty for full details. Find it at Firestone Complete Auto Care.
it makes you bitter. It makes you drown. It makes you feel like you're suffocating. You don't realize it, but you are. So when you're faced with an overwhelming turns of events, it's okay to say, I just can't think about it, or I don't want to deal with it right now. You may need the time to work through things, or, work through what's happening and try to adapt to new circumstances. But it's important to realize the denial should only be a temporary measure. Okay, it won't change the reality of the situation. It isn't always easy to tell if denial is holding you back. The strength of denial can change over time, especially for someone who has, let's just say, lost a loved one, okay? Because just like me with my grandmother, I dealt with it over time. It became easier. It became more relevant. But what I can tell you is that I still talk to my grandmother. I still say, I'll think, something. I'm like, oh, what would my grandmother do? Or I'll just sit and listen and just try to hear her voice again. And oh my gosh, you guys, like, I laugh just like my grandmother. And sometimes, like, even now, like, just to hear myself laugh sometimes, it just warms my heart, because if I get like a really good deep laugh, I sound just like it. And so does my grandmother, my auntie, and so does my mom. And it's okay. Like, it's okay. Some periods are linked to less depressiveness. Some periods of your life are linked to less defensiveness. And at other times, the denial may be much stronger. This was definitely one of those times where it was just more defensive for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't something that I had to hold on to, versus this other situation where she feels like, she has to hold on to it because this was it. This was her number one. This was what, she feels like maybe this was her only, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes we do. Sometimes we get that one love, and in between that love spat, something may happen and we have those regrets. And it kind of is what it is, and we have to, it's okay. Like I said, it's okay to deal with it, but you have to figure out ways to pull yourself out of it. You can be in denial about anything that makes you feel vulnerable or threatens your sense of control, such as an illness or an addiction, eating disorder, personal violence, physical problems, or relationship conflicts. You can be in a denial about anything that happened to you or to someone else. And, that's just how life goes. And unfortunately, this is just our life. This is the world. This is how things turn. And it's one of those things we should have to deal with, you guys. So, honestly examine what you fear. And I don't think at this moment of my friend's life, I don't think she's really examining, the biggest thing that she fears. We did get it out. She did say it. She did make a statement, but it was like, it was like somebody just walking out of my front door, like there it went. Like, it was like, it didn't faze her. And I'm like, you just stated it. But then, like, within the next 10, 15 seconds, we were on to the next conversation. And I'm like, child, we got to deal with this. But anyway, my next one was, think about the potential negative consequences of not taking action. And, that's a big one. It's a big one in this instant because she's a mother and you may be a father. You may be an auntie. You may be an uncle. You may be a coworker. You may be a lover who's lost a parent or who's lost a child. It's just not dealing with those things. Like I said, they can really make you feel like you're drowning. Try to identify irrational beliefs about your situation. Journal about your experiences. You guys know how I feel about that. I think writing is very, very therapeutic. Open up to a trusted friend or loved one. Participate in a support group. That's huge. If you don't have that friendship, if you don't have that friend circle, everybody isn't blessed with that. Everybody isn't blessed with a great supportive family. Seek out support groups. That is huge, you guys. And, there's this myth about Black people don't go to therapy or whatever. Girl, bye. Like, you go get help. Those statistics, those unrealistic ideals, that mess is mess. You hear me? Like, I don't care who's listening tonight or whoever listens to this, period. Like, seek out what you need, because at the end of the day, you are the only one living your life. Okay, don't make me quote it. Ain't nobody else gonna do you but you. So you can't let other people dictate what you do with your life. Okay, erase the lines of that box that they put you in. Reject it. No, live your life. Be you. If you need help, go get it. Do not be afraid. Don't be like me and suffer in silence. Everybody doesn't have the same outcome. Okay, yes, I pulled myself out of it, but because I had a strong backbone as a family. I come from a long line of very, very strong women. And so I had that within me. Everybody does not have that. Everybody does not have that voice that they can sit and meditate on and listen to. Everybody doesn't have that self-soothing rationalness. Oh my God. Rationalness inside of them. So if you don't have that, if you don't have that support surrounding you, seek it. Go get it. Okay. So my next step is fear. So I'm going to talk about fear. Fear is very immobilizing to a lot of us. It can consume us. Fear will definitely paralyze you. I know that for a fact. Fear can be a resource of deniability. Fear can make you irrational. Fear can make people do things that they would never, ever do. Okay. So let's tackle that. Let's talk about fear. What is there really to fear? Fear is one of those things that we kind of put in front of us to help block things. That's another one of those denial tactics. Okay, so fear is something that our brain sets there to help protect us, like when we're children. So, like if you're a child, when we were kids or when we're raising our kids and they touch something that's hot, well, after that, they're afraid to get burnt again. So their brain says, hey, don't go there. It's hot, right? If you fall off your bike, hey, never get back on the bike. We're going to always fall, right? Hey, don't date guys like this. All of these guys that look like this all have the same exact turnouts, right? No. So every situation is totally different. Okay. So just because you date a dark, tall-skinned basketball player. Dark, tall basketball player. I said that backwards, okay? Dark-skinned, tall basketball player. All dark, tall basketball players are not jerks. They're not arrogant. They're not pompous. They're not, you know what I'm saying? Like, so that's a stereotype. Okay, so if you get on a bike and you were 10 years old, if you get on the bike at 30, you're not going to have the same balance. You're not going to be the same body weight. You're going to have different ways of strategizing to keep yourself from falling, different ways of strategizing to keep yourself from getting hurt, you know. So like every situation isn't the same. So our brain forms this barrier there that helps us protect ourselves from getting hurt over and over and over and over and over, right? But here's the thing: if you never try and you never get hurt, then how do you know you're going to get hurt? Or how do you know you're going to fail? Or how do you know this is going to happen? Or how do you know this won't happen? Or how do you know if it happens, it's going to be great? Okay, so when we're dealing with fear, we need each other, right? We need each other to help each other to face our fears, to face uncertainty, and to help us navigate through things that may not be our reality, you know, at the time anyways. And so when you're doing all of this and you're going through life and you're hitting these situations and you're hitting these obstacles in life and you realize that you're holding yourself back because you don't want to be honest with yourself because of a certain situation that may have happened, then that's your time to say, hey, it's time to put on my big girl panties. It's time to put on my big boy drawers and let me go out here and tackle the world. Because if you step out, if you take that chance, things may actually succeed. Things may actually go the way you want. And if they don't, then you just figure out a way how not to do it again. That's how it works. So it's not failure. I've said that before. Fear is not failure. Failure is not failure. It is just another way that you figured out how not to do something. That's it. That's all it is, okay? So let's take acceptance, okay? Accepting those things which we don't want to be true, or which we know are true and we just don't want to accept it. Like right now, I need my girl Fantasia. Truth is, okay, like what's the truth? What is your truth? What is your truth? Okay, like the truth is you're a single mother, okay? Truth is you're a single woman or a single man with no kids, just a career. That's your truth. Truth is that person left you and you're single again. They left you. It's okay. It's gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay. The situation is gonna turn around. Your truth is you're in a marriage and you're lonely. Hey, there are ways around that. There are things to help that. There are people to go talk to about that, okay? Your truth may be that you lost a job and you don't want to go and you don't know what to do, or you lost a job and you don't know how to deal with your life, or you lost this awesome job and you feel like that was your life and you feel like now you have nothing. That's your truth. Truth is that loved one you lost is not coming back. The pain is real. Life goes on with or without you. Truth is we were in a pandemic and thousands, millions lives were lost. Jobs were lost. That's the truth. What is your reality? Reality is I have to pick myself back up. I have to hang that picture on the wall. I have to dry up my tears and I have to go on with my life, because that person would not want you to stop living because they're no longer here. They wouldn't want you to do that. Okay. That's your truth. That's the truth. They're gone. We lost them. We lost the jobs. We lost the economy. We lost so much of our actual reality. But now we know that what used to be won't ever be again. So now we're learning how to live a different way. We're learning how to live with this pandemic, the after the pandemic world, okay? So if we can live, if we all got through that, we all got through it together. Like, did you realize that? Like, truth is, we went through a pandemic. It was horrible, but you weren't going through it by yourself. Even though we had to stay in our homes, we had to stay, we had to start calling people and FaceTiming people. And guess what? If that would have happened 20 years ago, it would have been so much worse. because we wouldn't have had FaceTime, we wouldn't have had YouTube, we wouldn't have had cable or Netflix or Disney or we wouldn't have had all these things that we had to help us maintain the life that we had, right? And a lot of people weren't able to maintain the life that they had because of the pandemic. But today, June 1st, 2021, at this hour, I don't know what hour you're listening to me at, but at this hour, you're alive. You made it. You survived. We survived it together. That is the truth. Tomorrow, you're going to have to live. You're going to have to wake up. You're going to have to eat. You're going to have to put on clothes. We got to do it all over again. That's the truth. That's our acceptance, okay? Truth is, some people ended up homeless. That's the truth. Truth is, here's my truth. Here's my big secret. Here's something that I have not shared at all. And this may be a little early in my podcast to share it, but this is my community now. You guys are my community, and I love sharing with you guys. I love opening up to you guys. Like I said, this is therapeutic to me. So here's my truth. My truth is, my father was never around. I've hid my emotions about him for a very long time, and I forgot that they were even there. That is my truth. I grew up without my dad. I grew up knowing him. I grew up knowing who he was. Well, let me rephrase that. I grew up knowing of him. I grew up knowing who he was. I grew up not knowing where he was. I grew up not knowing if he even loved me, if he even thought about me, if he even thinks about me right now. I grew up without a dad, and I can say that over and over and over because now I'm okay about it. Now I don't cry. I think I had one mental breakdown when I was younger. Literally one. I can remember one. He wrote me a letter, and I held on to this letter for like a week, and then one day I burst out into tears because I had just been thinking about it and holding it in, and my mom didn't know, and she was like, "What is wrong with you?" Like, she was driving, and she was like, "What is wrong with you?" So I told her, and she just kind of like brushed it off, because it wasn't a big deal to her because she had lived without her dad. So to her, it was like, "Girl, please, you get over, blah, blah." But here's the thing, that was my truth. That was my moment. That was the moment that I needed someone to say, "Ebony, it's gonna be okay. You're gonna get through it. You're gonna survive it. You're gonna grow up and be this gorgeous woman with this gorgeous, amazing life." That was the moment that I needed, but I didn't get it, and it was okay. Because, whether it made me better or worse, I'm here to now. It's not really fazing me that he's not in my life. I have a great husband, great kids. We got a house. We got jobs. We got cars. I got a whole career, a whole brand that I'm building. So that's my truth. I dealt with it. I moved on. I accepted it. And I'm not in denial about it. It just doesn't affect me because I had to live without it. And when you live without something that you never had, it doesn't affect you. Now, if I had to live with something and lose it, that's totally different. But I never had it, so I don't know what I lost. And apparently, I didn't lose anything. Because if he was such a great guy, he would have been there. Right? And to my sisters, on another level, that goes for you too. If your truth is he left you, if your truth is he walked out on you, or he did this, or he did that, if he is not there, obviously, that ain't the one for you. Okay? Because if he's such a great guy, you would be number one. You would be first. You know my history about my marriage and the things that we've gone through. But the reason why I have my husband's back, the reason why I'm still with my husband is because I was his first. He made me number one. He decided on his own, that's who I want to be with. I have forsaken all others. I have cleaved to my wife. This is it. This is it for me. So when he made that choice, it was easy for me to make a choice to stay with him. It was easy for me to make a choice to love him and to deal with his faults and to deal with his hang-ups and to deal with his perfections and his imperfections. Because my love outweighs everything else. His love for me outweighs everything for me. So if he left you, if he stood you up, if he's not there, he is not the one for you. Don't toy with yourself. Don't be like, what did I do? Why am I not good enough? Why is this? Why I said? It's not you. It's not you. Because I don't care what you do in any relationship, there's going to be things that you cannot deal, that you feel like you can't deal with. Because when you say it out loud, you're going to be like, oh, I'd rather deal with that than this. So I'm just telling you, like, in every relationship you get in, there's going to be something imperfect about him because he's imperfect. We all are. But when you get that right person, you don't care that he smacks every time he eats and it drives you freaking crazy. Sorry, that's my pet peeve. But you don't care. I'm not going to divorce him for that. I'm not going to leave him for that. You know, he's not beating me. He's not going upside my head. He ain't running in and out. He don't have women running out of my house. He don't have drugs in and out of my house. He's not acting crazy, busting windows, no. We have a successful marriage, a successful life, a successful family. That's what matters. If your door is a revolving door, it's always going to be a revolving door because you are allowing it to be. That is your truth. That's your truth. Accept it. He's already accepted that he has a revolving door. That's why he's revolving. That's why he's going back and forth. If you are in denial and you're holding on to something that's not there, you're holding on to nothing. And you can't get something better without releasing something. You have to open your grip to receive something. If your grip is tight, you can never get anything better than what you already have. Okay? So what are the hard questions that you ask yourself? What are you running from? What are you afraid to accept? What is your truth? Are you facing yourself on a day-to-day basis? Facing your fear is the same as facing yourself every morning in the mirror, whether you look directly at yourself or the spot that stands out the most. Okay? It's still there. It's still waiting for you to address it. The problem is not going anywhere. The situation is not going anywhere. The illusion is not going anywhere. I think people are just sometimes searching for the impossible, and others are searching for things in plain sight, just refusing to acknowledge that it's there. And sometimes it's okay, but it's not okay if it's detrimental. Accept your truth, acknowledge who you are, and make sure that you see the collateral beauty around you. And I actually mean that. So I don't know if you guys have seen that movie or not, but it's on Netflix, and I got so much out of that movie. It was ridiculous. And to be honest, it literally just came to me. I promise you guys, literally, it just hit me. That whole movie was about facing his truth. Oh my God. Like, I just got chill bumps. Like, seriously, I just thought about that. The whole movie was about facing his truth. Hopefully you guys have Netflix and you can watch it. Look it up. It was powerful. It really was. But the name of the movie is Collateral Beauty. And the whole thing was, I'm not going to spoil the movie for you, but the whole thing is, when we get in this stupor, when we get in this drought, when we decide to withdraw from the reality that's around us, we don't realize that you're not accepting the collateral beauty of what you may have lost, or what you may be losing, or what you have had and you lost. I don't think people realize, just like my grandmother. Let's take my grandmother for instance. I lost her, right? I lost her. She's gone. I didn't lose her, actually. I know exactly where she is, but she's no longer in this world. She's no longer in my reality. So when she was transitioning, I got the chance to actually glance at the collateral beauty around it, because I am a living testimony of my grandmother. So are my children. She didn't really get to raise them, but she did get to keep them. She got to keep my older 3. And then my baby girl, she got to hold her right before she lost her eyesight, because my grandmother was blind as well as having Alzheimer's. And the collateral beauty is the fact that her life is her testimony, right? It was detrimental to me that my kids didn't get to have the grandmother that I really wanted them to have, the grandmother that they really deserved. That was the collateral part. But the beauty part of it is that it's in me. So it's in me. They still get to get that part of her, right? Because it's still here. They still get the part that she instilled in my auntie. They still get the part that she instilled in my mother, that she instilled in my uncles. You know, that's the beauty part of it. So realize that it doesn't matter how we lose it, when we lose it, how much of it we've lost. What matters is that what we gained from it, what we learned from it, what we took away from it. That's what matters, okay? So here's my poem for you guys before we go. Are you ready? Okay. The thing you fear the most has no power. Your fear of it has the power. Facing the truth really will set you free. It's always better to face the truth, no matter how uncomfortable, than to continue cuddling a lie. You never find yourself until you face your truth. Pearl Bailey. All right, so there you guys have it. There is my spiel for the week, your motivation for the week, and I really, really hope you guys enjoyed it. And again, you know, I really appreciate everything you guys do. I thank you for all of your comments, all of your shares, all of your likes, all of your just your being there for me, and you're building me and just always supporting me. You guys, make sure you leave a comment, share, a like. I love you guys, and I will see you guys next week.
Spark innovation across your federal agency with IT hardware, software, and services from Connection Public Sector Solutions. Your technology procurement challenges will meet their match as Connection's dedicated account managers offer exceptional customer service, and our extensive list of supported federal contracts means you'll always get a price that works for your budget. Learn more about innovation for your agency with Connection Public Sector Solutions at connection.com/fedcontracts.
I asked my doctor to write a note saying I suffer from cabin fever so I could write off my summer vacation as a medical expense. She said no. Fortunately, Red Roof's clean, comfortable rooms are very affordable, and you wake up rested and ready to hit the road again. And get this, when you rest and repeat at Red Roof this summer, staying 2 separate times can earn you a free night. Cure your cabin fever at redroof.com.